Okie dokie.
I think we're live.
Live? We're doing something? What's going on?
I think
Nothing.
we're live.
Don't worry about it. It's not important. Just go back.
I have 75 text messages to finish.
Yeah.
And then I will be...
You just sit
I'll be
here
with you.
quietly. We'll.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I'm going to turn on the clicker on my phone, though.
Great.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to another pretending that we're not actually doing the thing. Thank you so much for bearing with us.
Yes.
Thank
so
you guys.
so appreciate your patience. We were wrapping up a recording with none other than Michaela Swee,
That's
Sends her
right.
love.
actual celebrity.
Yes.
Michaela Swee.
Very much so.
Nice plaid shirt.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hello, Neris H. Neris, I know I've been pronouncing your name wrong, and I'm sorry for doing that, and thank you to other community members for bubbling that up to me, because I do not want to pull a Doug. And so, yeah, please correct me. Let us know if the...
It's going to be your legacy, pulling a Doug.
Oh, my God. I mean, isn't that, like, basically what America is doing to itself right now?
Don't go there.
Okay. I
That
know
way-
that's not what we
that way
intended to
I
write,
think
but I
that-
think that is what
I
came
think
out.
that we
but
can hope that America's pulling a Doug. And
My
not that
views are my
America's pulling
own.
a Cutter.
Oh my God, yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, my views are my own. They do not reflect the views of the show or anybody other than me. But that's
Yeah.
Because they're yours.
also they're sometimes wrong. So please correct me if they are, and also
This is off to such a great
let
start.
me know if the video's shitty or
Yep.
the audio's
Yep.
not working or whatever happens.
Should we introduce ourselves? Should we say who we are?
Yes.
No?
This is Michelle Agresti.
That's right.
This is Zach Valenti, and I'm Scotty Shoemaker.
Great.
And we do this podcast called Ours.
Wooden R's.
Yeah, Wooden
Our
Ours.
sessions.
Wooden
Doxa
R's
Sessions.
That's the one. Sincere
great-
apologies to everyone
Yeah.
everywhere for the start.
Oh,
Can you guys tell that we're a little bit loopy and that we've been rehearsing around the clock?
It's been a
because
time.
we have. We've been kind of in rehearsal mode all week.
Yep.
No, I am.
We met at noon and have been working until,
Until
5
right
minutes
now,
ago.
basically.
Yeah, so it's great to be hanging out with you.
It's been
and to
time.
end our day together.
And that working duo has been, I'm Gary Rubina. I write and direct and produce Wolf 359. That's Zach Valenti. He produces Wolf 359 and acts in it and writes in it. Sitting between us is the real reason why the show happens, Sarah Shackett, writer and producer extraordinaire. And we're here to answer all of your questions. They can be about anything.
Oh, yes.
This
That's
is no one.
Tiffany.
That's-
This
that's
is her
the
name's
most
Tiffany.
important
She's my
person.
cat. Yeah, she's sleeping.
Yes.
Great.
And fairly warned be ye, in answering all of your questions,
That's
we're
right.
going to be taking questions that include material that goes all the way up to our most recent releases, episode 55 and the third mission mishaps
Yes,
you want I solve.
So-
All of it is fair game for
Yep.
discussion, for dissection, for minutia.
Funny jokes. It's all happening. So if you're not caught up,
jokes. Everything's okay but funny jokes. They
So,
so you're gonna have to prepare yourself. And when you're in a mood for funny jokes, then you can watch this because this isn't going anywhere.
that's right.
But if you want to not be spoiled, leave now.
It's, yeah, if you are not caught up and you care about such things as experiencing the material without spoilers, yeah, look out for yourself first.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna go for it.
And if you have questions like why we are the way we are, or anything about the show, or anything at all, you can put them in the chat.
Yeah.
And it looks like we
I
got
like that like my so-called life place.
we have
Why
a
are you the way you are?
name pronunciation correction. Also, Nani like amaze, not nanny Nani.
Cool.
Right.
And yeah, somebody else pulled a Doug calling Tiffy Tilly, which is kind of
Oh.
funny.
That is
Anyway,
funny. But anyway, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Keep
and
putting them in the chat.
Thank
It
you to
moves
everyone
fast.
who submitted questions before we got started, because
Yes.
my word, do we have a lot of questions? It's very, very,
Great.
very exciting.
Zach, so is now a good time to mention that the G in my name is silent? I've never known how to bring this
Abrielle?
up. Exactly. No, I'm kidding. I'm trolling.
It's
I'm
like
trolling.
I hardly knew ye.
I'm trolling.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Gabrielle be trolling. Okay. Have to know. did Jacobi basically join Goddard because he was charmed by Kepler into joining?
I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that played an element into it. But I think that there
It
was
had to.
also a lot in Jacobi's life that kind of softened him up for
to-
that.
He was in a position where that was going to make sense, whoever proposed it to him. But
And I think that there's a lot about Goddard specifically
Yes.
that was appealing to him in the way that
Yes.
if Kepler had been working for, like, you know, the bonsai tree gardeners of America,
right,
it might not have
Not a-
been
yeah.
quite as effective.
I want to work in bonsai tree gardens.
It sounds like a great job. I just don't think it's
great.
one that is like
No.
super up Jacobi's alley.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I would say
Yeah.
that like there's something about Kepler's force of personality and the way that he was able to talk to a lot of Jacobi's concerns and proclivities that
Yeah.
played a big part of that.
No, there's a reason that it was Kepler, and not Rachel who
Yeah.
made the offer to him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you use your free time? How
Free
did
time?
you?
What?
Sorry. How did you use your free time in college to generate and stick with and develop creative ideas without getting burnt out, bored, and dropping them? Haha. Well,
That's
so the
some
reason I
assumptions in
laughed.
that
Some
question.
assumptions.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
reason I laughed is because I can name a bunch of ideas that I did not stick with
Yep.
and develop
Yep.
that I did get burned out and
Yep.
bored
Yep.
with and dropped,
Yep.
including Ruffles, which is my sock puppet. R.I.P. Ruffles.
Although Ruffles found
Ruffles
some
made-
second life.
Yeah, no, no, no.
in-
Ruffles isn't dead. He's
Yeah.
just ignored. And I'm
Right.
sorry, Ruffles. I don't know
What's-
where you are.
What's the Frank Zappa quote that's like, Ruffles isn't dead, he just smells a little funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that any of us have good answers to this question because we've all fallen down.
Yeah, and like, you know, and I think that like we all spent a lot of time in college thinking about art
Yeah.
and learning about art, but less time than we might have making art.
Certainly, yeah.
Like there was someone my year at Wesleyan who I think like starting second semester freshman year through the end of his college career, every semester he wrote a play and then he put on whatever play he wrote last semester. While
yeah.
also taking, you know, a full load of classes and doing a couple of other extracurriculars and acting in other people's plays. And, you know, and that I was always sort of in awe of people like that, of like, you know, how do you
yeah.
find the time? How do you, you know, how does it like pour out of you so quickly? So yeah, I don't know. I think that like the best thing that I did was just get involved with things like 24-hour play festivals and sort of things that like really put a deadline on you and like
Sure.
really kind of compress the time that you could spend meandering and lollygagging and thinking about creativity.
Yeah, and I think that like anytime you are working, like finding a community, finding a group that will hold you to account, you tend to do more stuff
Yeah.
than if you're just sort of off, sitting in your dorm room watching television or you know whatever.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is why you should subscribe. No, but actually, though, we are doing this thing in November.
I'm so ashamed.
Seamlessly executed
Oh.
link.
Lord Almighty.
If you go to Rye Scrivember, which is anyway, basically,
And what is Rice
What is
Scribe?
it?
Rye Scrivember is write a script in November.
Are we expecting someone?
Are we?
It might be my neighbor. I lent my neighbor my laundry cart.
We'll
Go.
keep telling
Yeah,
the good
yeah.
people.
Weeks and weeks and weeks.
We'll keep
Yeah,
telling
yeah,
the good
yeah,
people of the internet about
Right.
Rice
Rise
Scribe.
Remember, which is write a script in November.
Right.
So what you do?
If
What
a lot
do
of
you
people
do, Gabriel?
if people are familiar with NaNoWriMo,
Yes.
it's like that, but aimed away from prose and towards dramatic writing.
Yes.
There's just a wrong doorbell ring. They're going upstairs.
Great.
Oh man.
Yeah, at ryscrivember.org. WRICSCRIVEMBER. Anyway, not great at spelling. But yeah, would love to have you guys on board. It's gonna be fun. Did you guys say the?
We did.
Great.
We did
Sort of.
say
You
the
can-
thing.
Right.
You can elaborate.
Basically, it's like NaNoWriMo, which is write a novel in November, essentially National Novel Writing Month, except it's less stressful because you don't have to come up with a whole novel. You can write,
I dispute that claim.
and so like the stretch goal is like write 90 pages of script. It can be anything from an audio drama to a TV pilot to a movie to a comic book, like you name it. If it's a script, it's valid. YouTube videos, and you could do 91 page sketches, or you could do one feature film, whatever works for you.
Right.
I think the like floor of the goal, if that's the like, you know, the gold prize.
The lofty heights.
Yeah, I would say the floor is to just complete a full draft of something. Whether it's a short film, whether it's a audio drama pilot or a couple episodes is up to you. But I think like one complete draft, and at the end of the day, if you're more creative in November than you were in October, isn't that like enough of a win? I think so. So anyway, ryscrivember.org is the website for that, and I'm going to be sending out an email in the next couple days with more info on how it's going to go.
Sounds good, Zach.
Yeah, thanks for... Yeah.
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 Next question. What's Jacoby's type?
Ooh.
Eyeball emoji. Going like...
Important detail.
I mean, I
that-
think that
no
would
amazer.
take all the fun
Yeah.
out of, you know,
No,
out of the speculation of
Right,
it.
right, right. Noah Major should answer that question
Yes.
when he spends his copious amounts of time on the internet.
does Noah know that we love him? No. No, he doesn't.
Mostly,
knows.
mostly
Because
due
he's
to
willfully
ignorance.
ignorant.
Yeah,
No,
mostly
no.
due to willful denial.
He has been told.
Yes.
We scream it at him on a weekly
Very
basis.
regular
basis.
basis. Yes, absolutely.
Wednesdays is usually my... Noah, they love you! Sorry, that was loud. Is there a chance we might get a Mission Mishaps episode with the SI-5?
There is a
Yes,
chance.
there is a chance.
There is a chance.
Which we need to talk about that.
Do not
Yeah.
know for sure.
But there's a chance, and we would like for it to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is sweet. This is a question for Zach. I was so happy to hear you on the Penumbra podcast. Could you tell us a little bit about working with them? So one, they're incredibly understanding and patient of somebody who's unreasonably busy for basically just trying to do more than I probably should at the same time. And yeah, so they were incredibly accommodating. They sent me a script that was amazing because they're amazing. And then they sent me just my lines as a separate document, knowing that once I read the thing, like I'll probably just want to do the lines a couple times and like it's easier to look at. And they gave me like paragraphs of like context for who the character is and where they come from and like how they should be saying different sections, as it's sort of like it's a bit where I'm like jumping through time. It's like audio logs of somebody through their entire life, basically. And so it was really easy for me to jump in at like 6 a.m. one weekend, like right at the edge of when it was like before the deadline of when I could possibly get it to them, and like sit down and do it and then get it and be like, this is going to be amazing. And then I actually didn't even know at the time that Lauren Shippen was going to be playing my character's mother, which is amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
And hysterical.
Oh,
and
that's
like
great.
Yeah.
so 2017. It's like peak 2017 audio drama. Is like Lauren Shippen and Zach in the same episode cameo. So anyway, we love Lauren. We love the Bright Sessions. So it was a fun surprise that happened. And I have nothing but great things to say about working with the Penumbra folks.
Cool.
Thanks for asking and thanks for listening. One, are you all okay in getting enough sleep?
We are okay.
We
We're
are
not
okay.
getting enough
Parentheses,
sleep.
especially Gabrielle and Sarah.
No.
We are okay. We're not getting enough sleep.
Yes.
That is the answer to that.
That is true.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
but like we are hanging on there.
We're gonna
Thank
be-
you for asking.
Thank
though.
you. We are going to be okay.
We appreciate the concern.
Two,
Uh-huh.
please reassure me that Goddard Futuristics has invented some magical pharmaceutical fix that stops muscles and bones atrophying in space, because this has been genuinely worrying me for a long time. They haven't been doing nearly enough exercise.
You're correct.
Yes, and
Yes.
I think that there's you know, I think that we glimpse them exercising every now and then. Like, I sort of
Right.
think, like, in Happy Endings.
Yes.
When Hilbert goes to Lovelace's room, she's exercising.
And that
Um,
happens in
Yeah,
more
and the
episodes,
Hiccups
that
method.
Hiccups method.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, you know, so, like, I think that it's a fair assumption that they are getting some amount of exercise that we're not seeing.
I would also believe that there is something that Goddard has that makes space
Yeah.
easier
More
on,
tolerable,
on
yeah.
people's bones, or some sort of like supplement that they would take that would help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the water,
No.
literally.
That I believe.
Team What's Wrong with Handcuffs merch. Yes or yes? Trust me, this will be totally fine out of context.
Well, between yes and yes, I think I have to say yes.
Yes. Yes. Next question.
Yes. Hello. Hope you're having a good day.
Oh, well, thank you.
I wanted to ask, since we're already close to hitting next Patreon goal, and who knows, maybe by the time of the AMA, we already have.
Ooh.
Spoiler, we already have. Aren't you starting considering the possibility of this process going on till 7,500? Are you really still thinking of making another show? Hope the question is not too intrusive. So,
not. Thank
just
you.
to
No.
be clear, when you say the reality of making another show, my sense is that's the Doug Eiffel live.
No.
No,
that is
no,
the
no, no.
$7,500
At se-
goal on Patreon. That
At
is another
75
audio
another-
drama.
when
okay.
we
Yes.
make just another audio drama.
Oh
Correct.
wow! I forgot that we put that there.
We did.
We
We
did.
were.
I forgot we put that at 7.5.
Weren't we
Yep.
foolish?
That's insane. We're
Yeah.
so close.
And fortunately, we have been talking
Yeah,
about other audio dramas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before we get there, thank you, each and every one of you, for getting us to where we are, where these guys have been mortified in fear of the expectation to write,
It'll be fine.
and the actors
Will
have
and
been
Sarah.
the actors have been super stoked to get together and write the 1001 survival tips.
No. We joke
The
because
The
we're
DSS
afraid.
PPM, and we're just like incredibly blown away
Yes.
and moved
We are.
by
Absolutely.
Yes.
how you guys have gotten underneath us and like are really like just the best fan like audience community that we could
That
possibly
anyone could
imagine.
have ever
Anyone
asked
could ask
for.
for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly better than we deserve.
Yes.
And we're really excited to do the book as much as we've complained about it. It's kind of a dream come true. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But as for sort of like what the other show might be, we've actually been kicking around a couple of different ideas.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of them are a lot less ambitious than Wolf 359.
Very
and
much
would
so.
definitely be
Limited
shorter run
affairs.
things.
Yes. But yeah, if we
But-
get there, we'll see.
There's ideas.
Yeah.
And we will see.
Cool.
From where the idea of Polish accents on the show appear. From all Slavic countries, Russia always gets the most attention in American movies / shows, so Born in Poland, Minkowski is super cool thing. I'm double happy because I'm Pole myself. And what about Mr. Kudelka? I'm pretty sure this is a Czech surname.
It is a Czech
Czech.
surname, yeah.
Yep.
I wish that I had a more complicated and involved answer to this. But the honest answer is that I always overthink characters' names. I always sort of, if just given like unlimited
Time.
options,
Yeah.
I will spend days trying to find the right character name for someone. So lately, what I've done is that with every new project, I give myself kind of a very strong limitation on where I can draw names from.
Yeah.
So, for example, with Wolf 359, all of the main characters' names come from a famous mathematician or number scientist, which is why it's like, Eiffel, Hilbert, Lovelace, Kepler, Riemann, Jacobi, Maxwell.
Yep.
And Minkowski was named after, I believe his first name is Herman
Yes.
Minkowski, a famous Polish mathematician.
Thought it was
And
German. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not very good at
I could
that.
also be wrong about
Yeah.
this. I may be getting that mixed up.
In any
I thought
case.
Hilbert was German.
No, you're right. Hilbert's
Yeah.
German. Never mind.
And I would love to say that there was anything more complicated to it than I knew who the character was, and I was sitting down looking at a list of names, And then for whatever reason, when I saw the name Minkowski, that was the one that was like, that's her. That's who she is. That's her name. And I just sort of like knew it intuitively. Kudelka was specifically chosen as a Czech surname because of stuff in Minkowski's biography that
Yeah.
may or may not make it to the show.
Right.
But it was sort of important that like these are people that shared some amount of cultural connection as people from a certain part of the world
Right,
living in America.
the U.S.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. If you had to celebrate Halloween with one Wolf 359 character,
Ooh.
who would you choose? Hira.
Yeah, I think she
Yeah,
would have a fascinating
no.
perspective on it.
Hero would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Eiffel would be fun for like 20 minutes, and then the
Then
important thing would be
exhausting.
able to
Oh,
leave.
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
No,
like I
no,
think
no.
that Eiffel would be fun to like run into him while you're trick or treating, and then at a certain point being able to like, leave and go
in
your
the
separate
opposite
routes.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same for Jacoby, who would be fun, but
Yeah.
he would not.
Oh,
wanna-
Jacoby would be one
yeah.
of those people that's like militant about it. About
Oh,
like
yeah.
you know, like sundown is at this time, so that's when we hit the first house, and
Right,
then
right,
you know,
right.
like anything,
God.
No.
anything
Has
bigger,
color-coded schedules that like send you text alerts.
anything
to, like,
bigger than a Butterfinger is just
yeah.
gonna weigh you
No,
down,
no,
Right.
no.
drop it.
Right,
yeah,
whereas Eiffel would be like, ooh, that dark, scary alley looks like there might be candy down it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, let's go. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Telling ghost
Hero-
stories with Hero would be.
Hero would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of all the terrible things, oh, you haven't seen anything yet, that you've put the characters of the show through, which one scares you the most?
Oh, that's a
like,
good question.
Which one's what would scare us? Ooh, I think. I would not deal very well with what happens to Eiffel in Mayday.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for me would
Uh-huh.
be particularly scary.
I think that
and
definitely
acute.
comes to mind.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind is what Price did to Hera. Sort of this idea of like someone being able to like
Go into your mind.
go in, change something, and then just like make it impossible for you to know that they were there,
Yeah.
and have you sort of like really believe that like, you know,
That thing
something
about
that was
you
done to you is
It's
just who you
inherent
are.
to you. Yeah.
That is very scary to me, and sort of that idea of like
Not
being
even
unable,
knowing.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
like even being unable to recognize it
Right,
for
right,
what
right,
it is.
Right. No, that's up there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spider,
Oh, that's fun.
That is the correct answer.
but also the.
I have friends that still text me like, "I cannot believe that you put me through that," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think the last episode was so bad." And they're like, "No, I'm
No.
talking about the stupid spider
Yeah,
episode."
that's
That
funny.
was 3 years ago. And they're like, "That was only 3 years ago."
Yeah.
Talk to me when it's 10 years ago.
Right.
We'll see.
In many ways, I feel that like the realizing that the medical officer has been experimenting on me,
Yeah.
is something that
that's also
he knows
really
will probably
bad.
kill me. I think that might be the thing that I would deal with the worst, because the violation of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a way that like if I die in space, like I went to space, I kind of knew what I was signing up for.
Sure,
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 sure.
sure.
But like, if I die because my doctor is using me as a guinea pig without my
Sure.
consent, like,
And, like,
I have a
No,
lot
yes.
of feelings about like life and like what what sort of punishment should be in store for that person,
Right.
Yeah.
And should I reap that revenge with my hands?
Right.
Sure,
And even if you
sure,
don't,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
they're gonna burn in special hell.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or something
and
like that,
Also,
yeah.
like contemplating, like, what should I do?
Right, because there's this thing about you that you don't know, but is potentially dangerous
Right.
within you.
Right. Let alone, I mean, Jesus,
Yeah.
like, I think, like, really the scariest thing is the alcoholism. Knowing people who deal with that. And, like, that's something that, like, kills a disproportionate of humans every, like, year.
Sure.
Right.
And, is something that I think anybody can be susceptible to. Yeah. That got real.
Yep.
Scary stuff.
Remember, guys, if you have more questions,
Yeah,
put them,
throw
in,
them
the
in the chat.
And if we
Absolutely.
don't catch them, keep posting them.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
chat
yeah,
can
yeah,
move
yeah.
pretty quickly. Zach will do his best to
Yeah.
snag him when he sees them.
Exactly.
That's my middle name.
Zach
Mac
snagging
and
when he
cheese.
sees
Some
him.
Valenti.
Mostly everything bagels.
Let's not do
I
that.
don't see as many of them as I'd like.
Anyway.
Wed, Bed, Behead, Cutter Price, and Plant Monster.
This
Plant
is
Monster,
a-
Plant
Oh my
Monster,
God.
Plant Monster?
This is
Yeah.
a different formulation of that particular.
I mean, behead might not apply to the plant monster.
this is true.
Yeah, that
It
may
could
be a
grow
little.
a new one, potentially.
I mean, this is very much kind of a like, which horrible death would
Yeah.
you like to sign up for?
Exactly.
And I mean, like the thing about the plant monster and Price is that they both have a history of taking away your mind and like sort of
Yeah.
like, you know, invading you and
Ugh,
making you their puppet.
which is not great.
Right. I think the answer is clear.
Uh-huh.
Cutter would take you as their spouse on the best dates, so definitely Wed.
It's true.
Yeah, that
this
is-
this is true. You
right.
would live fabulously
Very-
for however
You'll
long
feel
you live.
like-
Right, you'd have to earn every penny.
Right.
Right.
You'll feel like you're really paid attention to. It may not be at all the attention that you want.
Right.
Right.
God knows if you could get rid of it, you would.
Right.
But
Right.
And it's also like those hired goons following you everywhere. It gets old really
real,
fast.
real fast. Yeah.
And then I think like let's not sidestep the matter that the plant monster has a reputation. So Bed. And
I don't even know what the implications of that are.
joking.
Also,
Is
just
the
like-
reputation a good thing?
And I
like,
think-
I'm
No,
just
it's
like,
not.
I think
as far as I'm
Price's
concerned.
modifications are at a point where she would consider it a favor that you beheaded her because she can then integrate the final plug to the like
Got it.
mainframe that she's built to like transcend human form.
You know what, Zach? I'm really glad that you were the person to answer
There's
this question because I could
Zach.
not have done any better than that.
Yeah.
I'll be here all week. Literally, this is my apartment. If the Hephaestus gang played D&D, who would everyone's classes be?
Oh.
Oh, that's
okay.
interesting.
That is an interesting question.
Eiffel would be a bard.
Obviously.
Minkowski would be a paladin.
Yes.
Lovelace would be a ranger.
Yes.
Hero would be a wizard. Cleric.
Yeah. I guess wizard would be fun.
And now's when Eiffel would be like, "What? Why don't I get to be a wizard? Come on, you guys don't give me any respect. God damn it! You go over here."
Kepler would be some like super specialized prestige
yeah.
class.
No, he would be like
like a blackguard
yeah,
or
yeah. Or like a dragonborn
yeah,
sorcerer or whatever.
Yeah. Jacoby would be a rogue.
Obviously, and then Maxwell would probably be like a warlock or something.
Yeah. Anyone else that we're missing? I think that's like the
That's
main
it.
cast.
Those,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
the ones.
You know, that might be the fastest that we've ever done any one of those questions.
Pretty good.
Which says something about us.
Yeah.
Can someone tell Ariella we love her and she's amazing, please?
Yes,
On it.
we got it.
I'll do it later. But I will do it, I promise.
Yeah.
Was Jacoby's attraction to men always a part of his character, or was it something that was decided later on after the conversations about the lack of LGBT plus characters in the show? Also, thank you so much for that scene where he casually mentions his sexuality. It was definitely a bright moment among all of the pain and suffering in episode 55.
That is an episode of pain and suffering.
It is.
Yeah.
I think that what was definitely impacted by sort of the conversation was the presentation of it.
Right.
And sort of like the way that it was revealed. And I think that that is sort of what is most evolved.
Yeah. As opposed to something that, like, because these characters don't really communicate fully and frankly with each other,
Yeah.
would go unsaid.
And it was still sort of something that, like, I think that we spent a lot of time talking about it, and at the end of the day, it was always like, this cannot happen until all the stuff in Dirty Work
Right. Gets
goes
resolved.
down. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he really needs to get everything that episode gets out of his system before he can relate with these people.
Yeah, because
in
he's
this
not,
way.
No, he hasn't related to them sort of on like a similar level since he got to the Hephaestus.
Yeah,
And this is, kind of the first moment where he really can.
right.
Guys, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but
What?
some people watched the good, the bad, and the ugly because we mentioned it previously,
Oh my God.
and they loved it, and I love that you watched it and loved
That's
it.
awesome.
That
Such a
makes us
good
film major
movie.
nerds
So
so happy.
So
happy.
happy.
I
Oh,
might cry. No, actually, though, I'm choking on like a peanut butter like piece. So,
You gonna be
and-
okay?
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think that everything in terms of the character was well within sort of like
Yeah.
what we talked about previously.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing that was impacted was how and when the information sort of came into the
out.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rena is asking a great question that she already knows the answer to, which is, Zach, what'd you do with your mail, your super great mail you got? You know the ones, which is only because of some family stuff that I haven't debuted these already. But thank you, Rena, for this amazing unicorn swag. These are two inflatable unicorn horns and one inflatable unicorn horn for a cat.
Cat.
I see that. I see that is
so
what they are.
I hope you guys are free for Self-Care Sunday soon so that we can all be unicorns. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Well,
All right.
the curveballs keep coming. Yeah, I am so unprepared for this AMA.
I'm just going to casually try one of these on while we just still
Great.
talk.
Ooh,
But,
extra. What value
I know.
you guys are getting?
I guess I'll ask again, are you guys okay?
No.
All right, now let's get real. No, we're not okay.
Really?
Not okay.
Tiffy has been really, really mean. No.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
No.
Them's fighting words.
No, she's just been sick, and it's been sweet to take care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's feeling a lot better now that she's on some drugs.
Right.
But anyway, that aside, we are okay. I definitely am learning the value of self-care, if by the lack of it, at times, like at least once every 3 weeks, I'm not
Right.
getting enough sleep.
Right, by
And then I
feeling-
try to correct it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I try to pay
It's a
back the
process.
debt, and then it's like kind of planning around that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, like it helps and doesn't help to know that it's like all gonna be over soon, because then it's like also like woo.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know, we are having our last big recording session on
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean that the show will be finished,
No, we still have more to do.
but it will be sort of the last time that all the cast is together.
All in one room.
And it'll definitely be, I think, for some actors,
The last thing
they
that
will
they
be
do.
they'll be wrapped. If all goes according to plan. So it's definitely
It's a big
emotional
week, you guys.
time.
Yes,
in Wolf 359 land.
as this happens.
Yes. Do you ever like look at our life, look at our choices, Sarah?
Only with regret, Gabrielle. Only
Because
with
like
regret.
look at this life. Look at these choices.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey,
My roommate just got home.
Andrew.
you guys look like you're having fun.
That's one way of saying it. That's
That's a
one.
word. That's a word for it. Oh man, I'm so sorry for anyone who's
Blowing a
first.
unicorn horn?
Wait, is this the cat? No, this is not the cat one. This is the person one. Why is this?
I guess we're learning that you have a big head.
Yep. Not surprised. Okay.
I'm trying to stay still so that I won't like ruin all the inevitable gifts that are being made right
Right
now
now.
of this.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Like all of the instant gifts.
I know. This is a meme that's
I'm-
happening right now. Where
I
the
surrender to
stuff
the
in middle of
gifts.
it.
Which version of David Bowie did you see during Mission Mishaps number 3?
Oh, Aladdin Sane for sure. Yeah.
I don't know actually. Which version I was thinking of? Maybe Ziggy Stardust. I don't know.
I guess like there might be an argument for like Thin White Duke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there would be.
Like I'm just like who is,
Is it,
like,
which one is this?
That's Ziggy Stardust.
Okay, I saw Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me I think like Aladdin Sane era or
Then White Duke would be the one
But wait,
who's just sitting quietly in a
that's-
corner, not
this is-
bothering anybody.
it's kind of like his next
This is
persona
a-
that has like a lot overlap with Ziggy Stardust Zach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that says Aladdin's.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the cover. But
Oh,
like
okay.
the persona that he developed around the time of the album is
Oh,
slightly
weird.
Slightly different.
That's so
Yeah.
confusing.
It is so confusing. If anyone doesn't know anything about David Bowie,
Hi.
it's confusing. Hi.
Nice.
You should look
You
into
should-
David Bowie.
yeah, no,
It's
It's
Pretty
It's
great.
pretty great. It's pretty.
Pretty great.
What a stupid
one
episode.
thing. All right, so that was fun.
You mean the crown jewel of the production, Sarah?
What do you mean? It's the best one. It's amazing.
So I'll say this much. Of all of the, like, amazing, hilarious things that, like, we've done,
Yeah.
this, recording that Mission Mishaps was actually the first time I think that Zach Valenti actually had to be like, no, leave the room. Like, I
No.
cannot...
Yeah, you
we-
guys
we
are actually
cannot-
unable to be professional while
no,
I work.
we couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, we could not stop
Mentally.
laughing. And, like, you know, like, we got through, like, Need to Know, no problem.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
please
But-
take A+ business person, Zach Valenti, actual unicorn Esquire. Seriously.
Okay.
Nope. It's impossible. Since Mission Mishaps was an actual audio log of Eiffel, how come we're all able to hear the hallucinations?
You know, we thought about
thought
that
about
when we were
that.
writing it,
Yeah.
or when we were going through the revisions for it. And I think that we all kind of looked at each other and were just like,
It's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
No.
the honest answer is that, like, you should not be able to hear them. And that is absolutely a little bit of discontinuity.
Yeah.
And I think that for a time it was sort of intended that, like, you would only hear his reactions to the
That's
hallucinations.
right. Yeah, it was written
That
that,
was
way.
sort of the initial
first,
impulse.
And then it didn't quite work that
Right.
way. We did need to hear the voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially once it was like,
No.
and I think the point where, like, reality got left behind was the point at which it sort of became a talking dog.
Right.
Yes.
Because originally it was just,
Just
a
a dog that he was hallucinating. There being a dog.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I sort of read it and I kind of went, like, this needs to be so much weirder. Like,
Yeah.
this needs to be, like, so much more
And that's
intense.
why I was born.
Yes, that is why. And yeah, it's sort of, it gets back to that early Wolf 359 spirit of just sort of,
Yeah.
if it's funny, it doesn't necessarily have to
Right.
work physically in the
Yeah.
in the reality.
And I think that
of
what's
space.
been interesting for us
Yeah.
about these mission mishaps, on top of kind of like working sort of like shorter length, faster,
Yeah.
is the thing that for all of us, this has been a lot of, this is a lot of what we thought Wolf 359 was going to
Exactly.
be. Like, this is what we
Yeah.
thought the series was going to be when we first started making it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to, now that we know the characters so well, to go back and write
It's
them
a trip
in
to
those
write.
kinds of
Yeah.
scenarios and with that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
And kind of like subtracting all the character growth and all the like relationship
That's
development.
part of why it's been fun. It is. I don't know about you guys, but I was able to fall back into writing early season
Yeah.
one Eiffel, but it is like so different.
So
from-
fun and
Oh,
just
no.
breezy.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
yeah, no, it's easy. In a way that it's much harder to write the more recent episodes, which I think is why we're writing the more recent episodes, because we wanted a challenge.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Zach Valenti, why did you write a space dog and not a space cat? Because
That's a good question.
I figured it was louder, and I needed something that made sounds. And I also wanted something that was like bigger than, or like, I don't know. Good question. It's what popped into my head. I don't really have a good answer other than that. But thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So you did not plan all the terrible suffering in angst at the beginning? I don't believe you.
You're right not
That's
to
not a
believe
question.
us,
That's just a statement about not believing us.
which you are correct to not
Yep.
believe us about most things.
Yep.
This is good practice in general.
Yes.
Oh, so Jay Grove says, I love the zany sitcom that Wolf 359 started as, and these mini episodes are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Will we get more character background info episodes before the show is over? I.e., Jacoby and the fatal explosion blowing up a hospital, more on Eiffel's daughter, Loveless, etc. So much more we want to know. So little time.
There is so little time.
And I'll say this much. I think that there's a couple more things that will trickle in.
Yeah.
I think that...
Sorry, Rena's calling us out with, no one's ever going to say Vug, and we're never going to know what's inside box 953.
No, right.
That's true.
That's right. We're never going to know what's happening behind the door in engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've...
There'll be a little bit more. There will be.
I always sort of say, I tell the truth to the best of my abilities. My abilities are limited.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of twists and turns that we did not expect. Yeah, so there will be a couple more biographical tidbits
Yeah.
that work their way in.
Not too many though, and
That's the
definitely
thing,
not
so,
on
like-
the order of the mini series where we went back and spent some time with folks.
Yeah, and I
in
think
the
that at
past.
this point we've learned more. Like, the biographical information is mostly in the rearview mirror.
Yes.
There's very little of it still coming, but I think that there may be some
There's
of it
yeah,
still.
there is some
Um,
that's on its way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm always sort of the mindset of you should know as little as possible about that stuff.
Yeah.
And that tends to be the richer experience in many ways.
Right, because you can invest more of yourself into who these people are.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Mitzrayim asks, did Michaela see the fan art of Eiffel and Hera I showed you? And my honest answer is I don't remember. I think I sent it, but I'd have to look at my text messages.
Cool.
And I'm pretty sure that we did, but you might want to retweet that at me in case I didn't, so that I can do that if I didn't. Gabrielle, trying to talk while Zach Valenti is being a goof, is literally me and my friends. That's awesome. That's right.
My life.
If you could teach a week-long course on Wolf 359, which episodes would you choose to highlight?
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Lillian Holman. Hello.
Sorry. She asked.
Well, that makes
point
more.
blank.
Well, that makes more sense.
Anyway.
Why would someone? Wow. Okay, I see.
Okay, grad student. What episodes would we choose to highlight? I don't
Well,
know.
the thing is, you need to sort of like establish a norm and then sort
And
of like
then-
go away from it.
So
I mean,
probably like
Empty Man,
Extreme Danger
Extreme
Bug.
Danger Bug, maybe Cataracts and Hurricanos.
yeah.
And then I think after that is when you can really start to dig into some of the more unusual ones, like
Yeah. Happy to be of assistance. I think it would be a good one. It's just like
yep.
Um,
I think Memoria and
Memoria,
Mayday would
Mayday,
both be
Am I
worth
Alone
highlighting.
Now?
And then even something sort of like, I think that it would be interesting to kind of go, say like, Empty Man Cometh, and then Need to Know.
Right.
Sort of like, a like more or
Like-
less status quo season 1 episode, and then a
and
status quo season 3 episode.
And look at the difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are getting called out about
Uh-huh.
answer. P.S. Rhinoceros Rex. While I'm calling you out, Gabrielle, you should answer your McFrickin email.
Oh, yeah.
And or
Oh,
your
geez.
Patreon messages.
Okay. Sorry.
And yeah, that is a good question. And we are sorry for not being as on top of our inboxes as it is possible to be. And we appreciate your patience. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many species would you say there are in the Trade Federation of Alien Overlords?
Lots.
Lots. There are a bunch of them.
Yes.
Which character are you the closest to in real life?
Oh Lord. I don't know.
I think paradoxically, for me, it's Eiffel and Minkowski.
You've said that before, yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're kind of
Yeah.
distillations of different aspects of myself. And I
Yes.
sort of...
Sure.
And I think that those are the characters that I write most easily. Like, they're the ones that require the least amount of... Let
Thought.
me
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
outside of myself. And let me sort
Right.
of, like, really...
Yeah.
Have... Kind of get into a different perspective. Their perspectives are ones that are, like...
Very
very
easy.
close to my head.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Because I have that with Eiffel. His voice just comes
Uh-huh.
really, really easily. Even though I think we're different people in a lot of ways.
I think a lot of that is because it is an extreme voice.
Well, yes.
And extreme voices are
Yeah.
easier to write in general.
Yeah, I think I would have to say Minkowski. For me.
I'm definitely like way more like Minkowski with some aspects of Eiffel. I definitely think Eiffel taught me more about being relaxed and goofy, and like how to sort of let my hair down, so to speak, in in a number of different ways that I think I was historically more uptight in a Minkowski-esque way. Yeah.
Cool.
That's that question. When is it going to be confirmed that Loveless likes the lady folk?
If it is confirmed, and it might not be, it's going to be in the upcoming episodes.
Yep. There's only however many
six
left. There are, so that's when it would happen.
Yep.
Did we do what would the characters dress up for Halloween as?
No, we
No, we
did not.
didn't.
We can do that. Minkowski would probably do like I don't know, like George Washington or something.
That's funny, yes.
Like
Yeah.
if she
Yeah.
knew that Hamilton was a
Oh,
thing,
then it would be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Done and
hard
done.
sell.
No.
Yeah.
Done and done.
No questions.
yeah.
Yeah. Eiffel might do like
Deadpool Trump.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Eiffel would be all over the Deadpool.
He
I was
would
gonna
all- yeah.
I was gonna say like
I was gonna say like
Kurt Russell
Star
in The
Wa-
Thing or something like that.
I was gonna say his aspiration is Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
His reality is
Deadpool Trump.
yeah, probably. But I was thinking
But just like in
Star Wars
costume
in general.
terms.
Yeah.
Oh
Deadpool Trump
yeah.
is harder, and like Eiffel would not put as much. Well, maybe he would put a lot of effort into it. Never mind.
I have a feeling that he would put a lot of
Yeah,
effort
yeah,
into
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and meanwhile neglect like the tax audit that he's
Right,
going.
right,
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Priorities.
He would not change the oil on his car, and it would be
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
I just believe that Eiffel does Deadpool every year and then modifies it for like
For
at some
slightly-
point he was
it's
just like
just a slightly
I'm
different
decided.
Deadpool.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna pick the most pop culture thing to
Yeah.
put on
Right,
top
right,
of
right,
Deadpool.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And that will be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lens that I refract
Right. No, he's
yeah,
doing,
refract
like-
culture through.
Rick Sanchez Deadpool right now.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
That's
his
funny.
gift to his grandchildren in his mind will be these tomes of like 1999, Deadpool, blah blah blah,
Yeah, yeah,
1999, 2000, Deadpool, blah blah blah, and like
Right.
this will be the codex
Right.
that will teach the next generation.
For whatever reason, what's coming to mind for Loveless is like a pirate or like sort
Sure,
of
why
like
not?
you know like a really like badass like naval commander.
Naval commander person.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um.
That checks out for me.
Yeah. Jacoby would be Rambo.
Yes, he would.
um.
In the same way that Kepler would just
That's
like
funny.
people would think he was being James Bond, he would just be wearing a nice suit.
Right.
He would be like, "Oh, it's Halloween."
Queen, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. Long story short, I woke
Yeah.
up like this.
No, Maxwell would be one of the Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. She would totally build out the gear. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
And we have a question in the chat from
Uh-huh.
Sarah Hemi. News to share on the Goddard special.
When we have news to share, we will share it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
coming.
moving forward.
Yeah.
It is definitely one of those. The immediate mountain that we had to climb was getting the finale written
Yes.
and recorded, which is happening this weekend. And after that, we are sort of taking the time to like settle down the last mini episodes. That's special, but it's humming along.
Yep.
It's coming.
And it'll be out before the finale is.
It is intended to be
Yes.
out before the finale is. Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It just involves less moving parts than the
Yes.
finale.
Can we have a soundtrack release, pretty please?
Mm-hmm.
Space is much less rad without the amazing score, as the dead listeners know. Dear listeners?
I hope it's dear listeners.
The dead listeners also know what's up.
That's
Yeah.
true. And the score is amazing, and we are trying to work on getting it out.
Yep.
It's on the list.
Yep.
It is. And it has been on the list for a while, which means that a fair amount of work has gone into
Yes.
getting it released. As
Yeah.
soon as it is all finished
We
and
will-
ready, you will be the first ones to know.
Indeed.
Jacoby is actually bi, right? Jacobi. I mean, simply for that. I try to embody the questions.
Yeah. I appreciate that about you,
I
Zach.
applaud the
Yeah, yeah,
commitment.
yeah.
You know, I think that, as always, I remain my policy tends to be to not say more than what the characters themselves are saying.
Yeah.
And to not give them labels that they have not given themselves. So, what we know about Jacoby is that he has stated that he likes menfolk.
Hasn't said anything about how he feels about the women folk
Yep.
Yep.
or anybody else folk.
No,
Exactly.
I am all for interpretations that, as long as they don't contradict the text,
Yep.
go forth.
All's good.
Yep.
Um,
And even if they do, go forth. Fan fiction. It's great.
Lillian Roberts, plot twist. They're all dead. Eiffel's hallucinating. It's all been a dream.
Yep, that's what
Yes.
You Want I Solve was there to do, was to
Sad,
see
sad
the-
that it's
Yeah.
actually
Right.
the most crucial
Yep.
clue you're going to get before we do a Lost.
Pan
No,
Pan
no, no,
especially
no.
makes a lot of sense.
It's even more insane.
Uh-huh.
Only the dog is real.
It's amazing.
It's all the dog's dream.
Alright.
Mitzrayim asks, any advice for a Miranda Price Halloween costume?
Ooh, just
Oh Lord.
yeah. I guess you could get some of those cool eye contact
Yeah.
things that they have.
That'd be pretty.
Which
Pretty cool.
I regret everything I wrote. Ever. Not just in that episode, but everything.
Everything that led up to that was all
It was all a mistake.
all a mistake. No, I mean, I think that the main thing with Price is you have to bring the attitude.
Yes.
You have to just think that everything is beneath you and that you can improve everything around you and that it is all just that little bit worse than it would be if you had designed it yourself. And if you can get that down, no matter what you're wearing, you are going to channel the Price.
What do the eyes look like? Mitzrayim says, I need details.
That's a good question.
That's one of the things I would.
That's
I
the
would-
magic of radio
Yeah.
is you
Yeah.
get to say.
And I would hate to flatten that by sort of going, well,
Yeah.
they're, and again, I'm about to say an example that is not to be taken as canon, they're red and they glow and they have sort of these moving parts.
No, this is
It's
part of the
for us
interpretation.
much more interesting if it's just
Yeah.
however you see them, that's how they actually are.
And you guys should crowdsource it in the chat, and then whenever the costume happens, if it happens, no pressure, but send us photos, please, because that would be
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Do it.
See
would
what your
love to
vision
see
is,
photos.
and
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
How I just want to do a time check-in because my laptop's dying and I should get a charger. Do we
Yeah.
want to do 15 more minutes? Do we want to do
Why don't we do
5 more minutes?
yeah, maybe
5 more
20
questions.
minutes total? Maybe let's maybe 7 more questions?
Great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go get a charger.
I think it'll last that
Okay.
long. Yes. Let's see. It's entirely possible that the plant monster was redistributed, and Bob used those parts to make themselves into a Doug replica in Watchtower.
If the question is that whether that is possible,
It is.
then I would say it is
Sure.
I asked
possible.
it
Anything.
wrong.
Yes.
Yes, because theoretically, once the part of the Hephaestus where the Pine Monster was got detonated
Yeah.
and demolished,
Debris
the
could have
remains
gone
of the
into
Pine
the
Monster would have
star.
gone to the star. The
Yeah.
star was blue at that point.
So it would have been able to be
Transported.
transported to where the dear listeners are.
Yep.
So,
So,
yeah, entirely-
I would stamp that with the
Entirely
possible seal.
Yes.
Hey there. I was wondering what some of the influences were for the listeners' philosophy on existence. They seem to have some pretty spiritual vibes going on with the whole reincarnation thing.
Whew.
It's interesting because in many ways I think that I was thinking in very much sort of the
Scientific
opposite direction
terms.
of just sort of what is someone who just sees the universe so completely zoomed out and who sees sort of everything in a way where physics and thermodynamics are so much more a part of it than the way that we are able to perceive the universe. And I was thinking sort of a lot in those terms, and then kind of okay, how would that person sort of
Articulate that.
articulate this?
Yeah.
And I think that it was sort of that trying to really capture something that has a bigger than human perspective, not just sort of different, but distinctly larger.
Yeah.
And kind of that idea of, them seeing everything is constantly being recycled and being repurposed, and kind of like, you know, things don't die, they just sort of like move from one state to another, matter is conserved, coming from a place of this is just the physical reality of the universe, and to
Yeah.
separate it from our experience of it is foolish. I think that was kind of where my mind was with a lot of Bob and with a lot of the dear
Yeah.
listeners.
Chill.
Yeah. To all.
Mm-hmm.
FMK. So this is like the
Fuck, Mary,
Mary,
kill.
kill.
okay, yeah. Lambert, Eiffel, or Bob.
Oh God.
Lord Almighty.
Bob.
Okay.
Oh
sure.
God. I
Tri-
mean,
Triple Bob.
maybe fuck Lambert, Mary, Eiffel, kill Bob. I think would have to be for me.
Yeah.
And like, there's no winners
There's
in any
no-
of that situation.
no,
but
maybe just like with advances in earplugs, Mary Lambert fucked.
oh, that's
Eiffel.
mean. Oh, poor Lambert.
I know.
Who am I to be
He
like?
deserves
You say he'd be a
much
total
better.
gentleman, though.
He would be.
He would be.
He'd be really sweet, you guys.
He really would.
Yeah.
It's true.
Whereas Eiffel wouldn't.
No. You gotta kill Eiffel immediately. Kill him dead.
And then what?
What-
What is Bob's idea
yeah.
of marriage and
Or
or
sex. Like,
I mean, we get to find out.
Do you get to survive finding out?
this is the question. Anyway.
I'm just saying, we don't know where Eiffel's been, man. Loveless
What
is...
does that mean? What does that even mean?
I think it's funny that I might know, but I don't. But we can pretend. We did the Jacoby is bi question.
Great.
We did the Loveless is gay question.
Great.
No, this is the second one. Loveless is gay too, right? Please? Why was she so surprised that Jacoby was gay? What did that scene mean? Yeah, this is actually different enough that we should
Cool.
answer it. I just can't see her as anything other than gay, which is my fault, but yeah.
No,
I don't know if
it's
surprise at the... I think the surprise, if there is surprise, is we're
Did you
talking
just
about
share
personal
Yeah.
stuff.
something
No.
about yourself?
Wait, you
Well-
did, like you said something that's not a snarky ass joke?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's where the surprise is coming from.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
just in the middle of this crazy situation,
Or-
you decided to.
Or
Yes.
just
Yeah.
again.
I'm laughing
that
because I
is-
see I just got called out for calling Eiffel a hoe, and yeah, that was what I was saying. But that's fine.
Or again, there is no sort of like definitive way to look at things, but I think
Yeah.
that is how we were thinking
Think
about
about
the
that
scene
scene.
as we worked
Yeah.
with it. Sort of the thing that is prompting sort of Loveless is like, wait, really? Is more of a like, holy crap, did you just like
Say?
share
Yeah.
that?
about yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that is
Cool.
in my mind. Y'all are so negative about Eiffel. I relate almost too closely to Eiffel. Haha. Yeah. I don't think you're the only person.
You're not the only person.
I definitely have as well, and it's like, you know.
You know, and I will say this. One of the most interesting questions that we've ever gotten in one of our AMAs was in, I think this was maybe early season 3. Somebody asked us, what is something that you think a lot of people interpret differently
that's
than how
right.
you interpret the show?
Yeah.
Or sort of what is something that you see where you think that people are extrapolating in a way that surprises you? And I think that our answer was, we think that people see Eiffel as a little bit more sympathetic than we do.
Than we do. This is true.
And admittedly, this was before a lot of, before sort of all the biographical information that we now know came out, and before Shut Up and Listen.
Yeah.
But I think that we always sort of have been very pointedly aware of Eiffel's flaws.
Yeah.
And have let that sort of permeate a lot of our opinions of him in kind of our day-to-day speech.
Which
we
does
love,
not. Yeah,
but we love him.
And that
like,
does not mean that like our way of looking at Eiffel is the
is
correct
the
one.
way of
Yes.
looking at it, of looking at him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nana asks, also great username. What's everyone's favorite smell, like in the show, or yours, whatever you prefer?
Oh God.
Oh Lord.
I love me some chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
swell.
Or bread, baking bread.
Oh,
is really
bread.
great.
My friend in college made a great.
I'm
olive
weird, but I
bread.
love the smell of gasoline. Like, that's
I like the smell of gas too.
Oh,
don't
it makes
worry.
me go like,
Yeah.
like I
No, I
choke
won't.
on my
No,
throat.
I think
I
it's
love
cool.
it.
I mean, it's one of those things like when I walk away from it, I'm like, maybe I go back. But like when I'm there, it's like, get it away. And then it is one of those weird smells.
So just to recap, ew, gross,
Yeah.
gag. But maybe I'll go back.
But they're like TV shows like that too. You know, there's stuff like that in life where it's like, ugh, and then like,
Yes, but Zach, but I think that, like, you know, with TV shows, there's at least like an intellectual process that while it punishes you, you can find engaging on like a variety of levels.
It's not like this visceral
No, but I
thing
thought-
that then you're like, oh, now it's gone. I
But
kind of miss it.
I feel like I've talked to people who've had that with permanent marker smell too, where they're like, it really like fucks me up. Like I don't like it, but then
Right.
when it's gone, like there is like a neurological part of my brain that's like,
Sure.
it's killing brain cells and replacing it with dopamine.
And you know what? In your defense, now that I've laughed at you for 2 minutes,
That's fine.
I've
Just two?
tonight,
Tonight,
for this
right
one,
now,
yeah,
right.
for
Yeah.
in this case.
No, it's just the way you phrased it that was funny.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And
it.
I know some
Yeah.
people that actually describe that with cigarettes, especially when they're first starting smoking. Sort of a like, you know, their taste buds haven't quite grown accustomed to liking it.
Sure.
But the nicotine is working kind of its addictive properties already.
Right.
Right.
So it's sort of a like, why am I doing this? This
I don't
tastes
like
awful,
this,
and it
but
kind of
yeah.
makes me a little bit nauseous. Puts it out, walks away, and all of a sudden is like, man, like I can really go for a cigarette right now.
Right. And like
Um,
you pass people smoking and you start to smell it. And, like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it smells like just the worst smell ever. But
I like
Yeah.
Totally,
small
and-
cigarettes.
yeah.
Anyway,
And I'm just,
weird.
Yeah.
I've never
No.
had a cigarette, and I'm like, I don't need to poke that bear.
No,
Right.
you
Like,
don't.
because I know that every predilection towards
Huh.
like, you know,
Addictive
addictiveness,
stuff. Yeah.
I've got it. So
Right. Yeah, I grew up with friends who dealt with that stuff, so I'm like really
I just
sensitive
yeah,
to it.
I grew up in a smoker's household. And
Right.
So
I
it was
have
just like,
I went to high school with a friend whose dad smoked a lot, and he had the same thing.
well,
anyway.
Yeah. After the series is over, is there any consideration to collecting all the scripts in a book? Because I would buy that. No questions asked. Thanks for the
Aw.
show, the writing, all the acting, sound design, just amazing. Fave, period, podcast, no question about it.
oh, well,
Aw,
thank you
thank
so much.
you so much.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
It's a thought.
we haven't-
Most of our
Yeah.
scripts are available for free on our website,
yes.
and we fully intend once season 4 is over for the season 4 scripts to be on there.
Correct.
I think the question would be,
Are we doing a physical print?
and what else could we sort of put
What else
on
could
there?
we-
And then we
yeah,
certainly
like,
annotate them.
sort
That'd
of
be fun.
Hamilton style.
That'd be fun.
But like,
Yeah,
you know, it's
It would be a fun project.
Right.
There's a couple of possibilities there
yeah.
to consider.
No
And we-
immediate plans though.
And
Yeah.
we've gotten similar questions around like, will the store still exist? Will like the Patreon go away? And like there's some things that we're thinking about, we're talking about, and I think it's safe to say that these different platforms. I know we've also gotten a question of like, will these AMAs and like other bonuses like Patreon stuff like retroactive cleverness, like will these things be available for purchase?
Sure.
Got it.
And we haven't made decisions yet. We're talking about it. We're mostly focused on finishing the show. I think it's safe to say that like everything is going to stick around for like a couple months afterwards.
Right.
At a
we have
minimum.
we have no
Yeah, yeah.
intention of like January 1st.
Yeah,
Just
we're not
cutting
trying to just
everything.
turn everything
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
and we'll be in closer
We'll let you
communication
guys
as we
know
have
we
more
get
time.
closer.
Yeah.
Because
about
these
what
are
that stuff-
things we're talking about.
And
Yeah.
if there is sort of a time when these things are going to close down, there will be ample warning of
Yes.
last call.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I guess, like, if there are any thoughts, feelings, like strong opinions, let us know.
Yeah.
So that as we are, like, talking about things internally, like, we have our, sort of finger on the proverbial pulse of what you guys would be upset by, what you guys would be excited about.
Mm-hmm. You're at
That's
1%,
all
by the
helpful.
way.
Yep.
I'm at 1%, but I think we're also, like, on to the last, like, 2-3 questions.
Yeah, like I think with 2 more maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want me to get your charger just for
Just for
I think
peace of mind?
can like there'll be chat questions.
Okay,
Like, I think
cool,
we're okay.
Cool.
Great.
After the series is over, is there any
Yep, that's the one
That's
that
the one you
consideration?
just
We did
answered.
that one. Is Hilbert's birth name Volodin or Volodin? I can never quite tell when it's said out loud. Sorry if you've already answered this.
So it's written Volodin. I think it's pronounced closer to the way Volodin is spelled. Is
That
I
is
think what's
also
going
my
Pretty sure.
understanding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty sure. I'm at 1%. I'm not panicking. Yeah, because Apple really took care of my laptop from 2012 by replacing the top case for free, out of warranty, which means that it has a new battery and processor and all the things. So it like
Nice.
works
That's
really freaking well. The display is now starting to crap out in a way that like the rest of the computer is still a spry teenager.
Awesome.
But that's kind of sad. But I can deal with dead pixels.
Why don't
Kepler's
you do the short question one?
short
That one
question.
looks interesting.
Did you like the new Blade Runner?
Ah.
Longer question. Human AI relations is such a big theme in Wolf. Just wondering, what do you think about the way it was portrayed in Blade Runner and possibly the Alien universe?
Yeah, Sarah and Zach, what did you guys think of the new?
I didn't see the new
Runner
Blade Runner yet.
films?
I'm dying to see it.
I did see it.
Was it
wait, I
good?
haven't talked to you about it.
Yeah, we
actually.
need to talk about it.
Yeah. Roger
Should I see it?
Deakins should win an Oscar. You should see it because
Yeah.
it's very,
the
very
cinematography
pretty.
is amazing.
Cinematography is amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am, I think, less enamored of it than some people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know why it was necessary, but it's a good movie and it's worth seeing in theaters because it is gorgeous.
Yeah. I actually really, really liked it. And as like more time has gone by, I may be getting to the heretical place of possibly liking it more than the original.
And honestly, I don't think it's that heretical a place.
Yeah.
Like, I am not one of those people who hold up the original Blade Runner as this
Shining work of perfection.
shining work
Yeah.
of perfection. It is a seminal work of science fiction, and I don't want to take away from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a good movie.
And
Also, if you read the book, I mean, I don't know, that book really like. Having read it after seeing the movie, I was like, "Whoa! Like these are two totally different things."
Oh,
It was the
yeah,
first
no,
time
no,
that,
no,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
I really like because having grown up with Harry Potter, it felt like adaptations were this one thing that was like just cutting out as much of the book as you can to make it a 90-minute movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
right.
almost identical
no.
versus this interpretation.
And if anyone is interested in filmmaking, I cannot recommend Future Noir
Oh, yes.
highly enough, which is the book that's the making of Blade Runner, and
It's
it goes
so fascinating.
sort of, here's how the movie got like greenlit, here's all the process of writing it, here's designing it, almost day by day accounts of shooting it, why all the different versions exist. It's like one of the most in-depth looks at a movie being made that you can get anywhere. In terms of what I think about AI relations in Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and the
I'm
relationships
curious to
to
hear your answer to this question.
Wolf 359, I think that we are approaching a similar subject matter from kind of different perspectives, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I think that, as always with AI, there is kind of a question of where is the line where you start being a person. And emotionally, I think that Blade Runner, both the new one and the old one, sort of like really ask you to have a degree of compassion for replicants.
Yeah.
But it's so fascinated by sort of this idea of, can you even, what happens when you don't know
When
that
you
you might
can't
be one
tell.
of these things?
Yeah.
And I think that what's fascinating about the new one is that you have a protagonist who is aware of the fact that they are
Yep.
sort of this
Or
synthetic
Other
creation.
thing. Yes.
Wolf 359 is much more concerned about how do you assert that personhood and sort of how do you define yourself in relation to the people around you.
Yeah, much more about
Um,
an internal conflict than it is about sort of societal
Sorry.
stuff.
And at the same time, I would also say that it's also much more about relations with other people and your personhood, as opposed to kind of like your internal relationship with your personhood and sort of internal
Right.
doubts about that.
Right.
So I think that it's kind of all swirling around the same ideas.
Yeah.
But I think that you kind of see where their writers were most drawn to and what their fascinations were. And I think that you can see sort of like where we were most drawn to and what our fascinations are.
Yeah, I think both films and Wolf 359 have very similar, come to very similar conclusions,
Yeah.
but are sort of dramatizing the question, obviously, in very different ways.
Right.
We have a very long question
Great.
about Kepler's reaction to the soul's arrival.
Uh-huh.
Also, dimming your screen, 2% battery, just like that.
Wow.
Amazing.
From his "oh no" to immediate directing the crew on what to do to not die, really took me by surprise, and wasn't how I expected him to react to Cutter and Co.'s inevitable arrival. I have my own theories on why somebody owes Minkowski a life debt after dirty work, in my opinion. But what was the thought process behind that? I always genuinely pin his motives on as practical with a twist of evil, but this doesn't seem like that. Was it entirely in his own self-interest?
This is the question.
So I'll say, I cannot answer this
No.
without spoiling things, but I will say this much. With anything related to Kepler, beginning from a place of practicality twisted with evil, smart. Like, it is almost always the correct answer when it comes to Kepler.
Yeah.
I think that the other thing to consider there is what prompted Kepler to turn and sort of like, what information did he become aware of right before he said, oh no?
Yes.
And sort of what is the realization that he has in that moment about what is about to happen. And that impacts his reaction as much as Cutter arriving.
Yes. More so, I think.
Yes. So I think that, like, if you're looking for, like, some clues to what is going on with him, that would be, I think, sort of like the thing to focus on, of sort of like, what
Yeah.
does he realize?
And you will learn
right at that moment.
more.
You
in
will
the
learn more.
upcoming
Absolutely,
episodes.
absolutely.
So stay tuned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think the last question of the evening.
Great.
Oh, this looks like it's not actually for us, but which podcast does everybody use? Apple ruined theirs. So
I've
this will be
heard
the
that.
second to
I have
last
not heard
question.
that.
Only because I have something to say, which is Pocket Casts. It's unfortunately not free, but it is great. It's not the best for searching. It depends how you listen
Yeah.
to shows. Like, I
Yeah.
know Gabrielle likes to find authors or comedians or personalities across any show,
Right. I
and
just
not
love
subscribe.
I just love to sort of go, I want to listen to an interview with Eddie Izzard. Search.
Right.
Yeah.
And show me any podcast that has an episode titled Eddie Izzard.
And I've talked to the developers at Pocket Cast to fix this, and it's something that's like maybe on their list, but they
Okay.
aren't committed to it right now. They make it really easy to manage a bunch of subscriptions.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
were somebody who only listens to the shows you subscribe to, it's a great app for that. You can create custom filters, and they have a like cloud-based web browser version if you like to listen on your computer and not just your phone, and have them in sync. So I really like that. It's like $3 or $4.
Chill.
Last question.
And increasingly, I use that and do my searching on iTunes.
Yes.
And then
That is
sort of,
that is
like,
what I
track
do.
down
I have
episodes.
I have Pocket Casts
But in
for, like, the
terms
stuff I
of
listen to regularly.
reliably downloading
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and playing them,
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Noise. Last question then, Mitzrayim. Have you seen Life starring Ryan Reynolds? It was basically a Wolf 359 movie adaptation.
I have not seen it.
This came out earlier this
Yeah, this
year.
was,
the
uh,
Space Station
And
movie.
was Gyllenhaal in this?
Yeah. Yes, I believe he was.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
I missed it. I had every intention of seeing it, and then I happened to take a trip back home just around the time that it was coming out.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't out.
It wasn't out, and
Yeah.
then by the time that I got back, there were other things that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But I was interested in it, and I was curious to take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to check it out. I did not see it.
So to break what I said and do one more question,
Okay.
because somebody repeated it a couple times, it looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
Micah Cole, on the book note, would it be chill with y'all if when you publish the Deep Space Survival Guide, if I made a physical bound copy, not for sale, just my own personal thing? What you do with your PDF, provided you're not profiting off of it, chill.
That's your
Up to
business.
you.
And
Yeah, totally.
like, we're not committed to doing this just because we don't we just don't have our heads around what it would possibly take, but
Yeah.
we're not morally opposed to the idea of doing a print run. We just need to figure it out. And
Yeah.
first we need to make it. So
Yep.
Yeah.
stay tuned about that. There may just be a version that you can get, but like we'll all find out together.
Yep.
So thanks
Yeah.
for asking.
And yeah, that is very nice and very respectful question. But as Zach
Yes.
says, what you do
Which
with it.
is your business.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, with that, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
Oh,
hanging
this
out
was
with
a
us. Thank you
blast,
for asking
everyone.
questions. These
Thank
were
you
great
so
questions.
much.
3 years ago would never have fathomed to imagine a guess that we'd be here
Yep.
Yeah.
with like $5,000 per month and a community this large, over 700 500 600 how many patrons do we have now?
900.
900.
900.
Yeah.
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise. I know we broke 100 and it's just been so much so quickly that I'm like
Yeah.
we just like changed the email so like I'm starting to see like as we get new subscribers and just like new people coming on board, and each and every one of you blows us away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank you,
Thank you so
for
much.
letting us make more of this crazy dream.
Absolutely.
Until next month,
All right.
you
Be
can't reach us
well.
anywhere. We're not on social media.
Nope.
Not
at all.
I definitely won't be talking to you for Rice November if you want to write a script in November. Yeah, from us at A Kind of Evil Genius, good night.